And good afternoon. Welcome in to the Rob and Kale Show minus Kale today. I used to do a show every day on Fox Sports Radio, and I thought I would bring it back a little bit today. Got about a half hour I could spend with you folks here. I thought maybe we could talk a little bit, talk about some upsets I think that are coming this weekend. Maybe, maybe not. Shout out to the folks checking us out over there. Jay, G-Man, Brock. Appreciate you guys as always. So I was looking through some stuff, and I thought I would go over some of these picks for the week here. That we already did our stuff there on the with our picks for the Rob and Kale Callaway Challenge. That's already in the books there. But there are other games that I thought I would put out there. And, of course, we'll take calls on whatever it is you guys would like to talk about as well. And, of course, the link is in the description there. I haven't done this by myself in a while. Normally I can bebop and let Kale run his mouth a little bit and then go from there. So there's a couple of things, though. I wanted to talk a little bit first about the Tennessee game with Missouri. There's a lot of people that are in love with Missouri right now because they look good against Georgia. But I think people need to back up just a little bit. I think this Missouri team is flawed at best. Brady Cook, their quarterback, has a history of, I don't know if you know what the term to describe it is. It seems like when there's a big chance for him to do something in a big game, this guy ends up literally puking on his shoes. And I think the combination of that and the fact that Eli Drinkowitz is a dope, an absolute dope, that, and if you go back and you watch, teams that run the ball well don't look very good. Missouri doesn't look very good against teams that run the ball very well. I think Tennessee's going to run the ball. I think that's kind of what Tennessee is now. And I think Tennessee may go in there and win comfortably. When I say comfortably, I mean by double-digit points. Just being honest here, and I know some people are like they're in the mix and they'll tell me that I'm just ripping Mizzou, and it's not really that way. I just don't feel very confident in Brady Cook. There's questions about whether Luther Burden is injured. And the line on the game is like 1.5 there, G-Man. And I tell you what, the more and more I think about it, I think the safer bet is with Tennessee. I really do. I just don't think – now, I'm just saying – I'm talking about if you're going to place a bet on a game or whatever – if you told me I had to pick on that game, I would definitely, the more and more I look at it, the more and more I think that the safe bet is with Tennessee simply because limited Luther Burden, Brady Cook can be bad when it comes to a game that there's a lot on the line. And there is a lot on the line there I think both are eliminated from the East. Let's just be honest about that. I think Tennessee could still make it if I got to look at the records for them, but they'd have to win this game, and then Georgia would have to drop a game, et cetera, and then they got to beat Georgia too, something like that. The more and more I look, Eli Drinkowitz makes dumb decisions, and when that happens, it ends up being a mess. Let me take this call really quick here. All right, anyway, so the more and more I look, the more and more I think Tennessee's going to pick up the win there. I like them over Mizzou. There's some other games, too, that I wanted to go over really quick here. First of all, let's talk about the Clemson game for a second. Did you know that Georgia Tech allows about 8 yards per pass? Yeah. Now, I'm not sitting there saying that Georgia Tech is just this monumentally great football team, because they're not. They're the rambling joke, in my opinion. I do think, though, that for this game against Clemson in the coming up this weekend, when I look at these two teams, I think that the passing part of the offense for Clemson is garbage. And it's hard for me to sit here and say, you know what? Clemson's a 14.5-point favorite. They should roll right on into that matchup and just win it. I know it's at Death Valley. I think it's a noon kick. Georgia Tech is 5-4, 4-2 in conference play. So when it comes back down to it, the more and more I look, the fact that Georgia Tech is really, really good against the pass, even though they're pitiful against the run, I'm picking Georgia Tech to cover. Now, I don't think they're going to win because as decent as part of the reason they're so good against the pass is because everybody runs the ball against them and runs over them and through them and everything else. So with that, expect a big day from Maffa, who does have issues with turnovers. Let's be honest on that. He fumbles the ball a good bit. Same thing goes for Klubnik. I think that King and those guys from Georgia Tech will go in there and give them a little bit of a rally there. And what I mean by rally is that I think they'll get behind early and then they'll rally back and get that backdoor cover. Shout out to Bubba asking where Jackpot is. Man, I'm doing this a little bit by myself today. I just thought I'd come and throw some picks out here. What's up, Bob? Appreciate you. Yeah, so that I really like Georgia Tech to cover, not to win. Just continuing the shit season that Clemson is having. There's another game tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on the ACC network, Duke and North Carolina. North Carolina is a 13-point favorite, and I don't understand why. The Duke defense has been solid all season, and I know people are worried about Leonard being out and all that. I don't think that matters. Really don't. I like Duke in that matchup, and they might win that game. North Carolina has struggled at home with App State. This North Carolina team is not very good. I mean, they're not the greatest team ever that some people make them out to be. And I'm not sure a 13-point line, even when these teams suck, it's never really that high. So there's that. A couple of other SEC matchups before I get out of here, and then I'll give you some picks for tonight. When I look at the SEC this weekend, I like the I think a lot of people are jumping on the Vanderbilt bandwagon, thinking that they're going to cover or they'll get in within that 14 against South Carolina. If South Carolina can't cover 14 against Vanderbilt, they need to just pack up the damn truck, put Jackpot on it, let him sell potato chips out of it. I mean, it's that bad. Vanderbilt is just really not good. And the more and more I look at that game, I'm like, how does that happen? I also think that Alabama is going to kick the ever-living shit out of Kentucky. So if you want your little noon parlay there, take Alabama -11, South Carolina -14. I think that's going to happen. I think the Alabama game is going to be like 35-17, something like that. So if you were going to put that together, that's kind of the way I would go. Shout out to Jesse checking out the show over there. Good to see you, sir. Other matchups, Auburn and Arkansas. Man, what two shit programs here. There's some Arkansas fans been giving me shit on Twitter about how they're the best 3-6 team in the country. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. Arkansas is a 2-point favorite. They may cover that. I don't know. That's a shit po game there. You've also got Ole Miss in Georgia. That's kind of the game of the week there for the SEC. And here's my thing with that. Yes, Mizzou covered last week against Georgia. And they made some – I don't think that when I watched that game and I rewatched the whole thing, I never got this vibe that Georgia wasn't in control. I know Missouri was happy because they put up a good performance. They didn't go in there and lose 35-7. But in the end, it came down to Georgia's just great. I don't know what else to say about them. They're just great. Now, Ole Miss comes in at 8-1. Their only loss on the season is to Alabama on the road. Lane Kiffin is, I know people don't like him as a head coach, but the guy's like, 17 games over 500 in SEC play at Ole Miss. So you have to come to the conclusion, if he's playing an SEC West schedule and he's 17 games over 500 in his time at Ole Miss, either A, the SEC West schedule sucks, or B, maybe he's a good coach. Maybe it's one or the other. So you have that. And I still think that Georgia is going to win. I wonder if Lane Kiffin's going to try to dirty it up. And what I mean by that is just run the ball, play the possession game, which if you do that with Georgia kind of loves that. That's what Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp want. They love for you to just sit there and say, you know what? We're just going to try to run the ball and control the clock because they're the masters of that shit. If they don't have to throw a downfield pass and all they got to do is run the ball and they can keep moving the chains and keep their defense out there, etc., they're going to do that. So you're trying to play the master's chess game, in my opinion, with guys that are the masters at that. I think Georgia wins, and I think they may cover it late, to be honest with you. Florida and LSU, step back for a second. Think about this for a minute. Remember when this game actually meant something? And every season it was like, you know what? Florida's going to play LSU, and that game's going to determine a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot. And now it's come down to either Florida's going to be 5-5 or LSU is going to be 6-4. You could have 2 6-4 teams at the very end of the season there. My, how the mighty have fallen. And a lot of it's got to do with the fact that the LSU defense hasn't been as good as they normally are. They've got a Heisman Trophy contender in Daniels at quarterback. I don't know if he's going to play or not. They're still a 15-point favorite, but I think that's just people are just blown up on LSU, and they think that Florida is the shits. I personally think that Florida will cover in that game. Texas A&M will play Mississippi State. I'm calling this the Jimbo Fisher is screwed bowl because Texas A&M is a 17.5-point favorite here. They should win this game. They have the players and everything else to win this game. The question is can they get their ass in gear and do it? And think about this. Mississippi State, if they win this game, they'll move to 5-5, one step closer to bowl eligibility. They do have the Egg Bowl left. I don't think they're beating Ole Miss. This game is huge. This game is huge if they want to go to a bowl game in the first season under Zach Arnett, I believe is his name. So when I step back and look at this, though, wouldn't it be just if Mississippi State can win that game, they may tell Jimbo Fisher, look, take that A&M shirt off and get the hell out of here. We'll pack your office for you. I mean, I truly believe that. Losing to this Mississippi State team, as bad as they are, I'm just saying, it's going to be, if that happens. I do think Texas A&M will win, though. As far as games tonight, what am I going to look at tonight? Let's see here. I've got tonight, by the way, Louisville last night let Virginia hang around. I don't know what the hell was going on there. Is Louisville the biggest fraud ever? I really don't know. There's 2 late games tonight, and SMU is a 20-point favorite over the Mean Green from North Texas. If I were going to bet that game, I would probably take the over because they're going to score a shit ton of points. I think the over right now is at 64. I would take the over on that. And then Wyoming and UNLV, the late game for those that want to stay up late and watch two Mountain West teams. I mean, if you're a degenerate, why not? Give me UNLV as a 3-point favorite at home against Wyoming. Wyoming's a pretty good football team. I don't know why. I would probably pick Wyoming. Take Wyoming to get the, I guess it's the upset. It's a field goal game. The upset went on the road. And why not take the over in the SMU game, because I don't think there's going to be a lick of defense played in that game. They'll probably put up 45, 50 points in the first half. Would not be shocked. So there you go with that. So there's my picks. My picks I'm going to have this evening. I always bet a couple of games on Friday night. Just something to keep me in the mix. All right, so if you want to join the show really quick here, we'll bring you on. The link is in the bio. It's also right there. Also, if you want to see more of these shows, put all the, if you want to tip the show on Cashapp, whatever, it's all in the links there. Brandon says Louisville's 9-1. Did I see that coming? Everybody was telling us Louisville's great, but I mean, their schedule is pissy. I mean, their Super Bowl really is, when you look at Louisville, their Super Bowl is the Kentucky game at the end of the season here. And I don't know. I'm trying to find the rest of their schedule. I got it right here. So Louisville, their schedule, they play Georgia Tech, Murray State, Indiana, Boston College, who is overrated, even though they've been playing much better football lately. They won at NC State. I guess the win over Notre Dame is big. Then they lose. They get blown out by Pitt. How the hell do you lose by 17 to Pitt? I don't know. They beat Duke 23-0. They wallop Virginia Tech. They beat Virginia by 7. They've got Miami and Kentucky left. I don't know what Miami's playing for right now. Really don't. Really don't. But that Kentucky game is their Super Bowl, in my opinion. So, yeah, there's the question. He asked me about that. That's what I got on that for you there, Brandon. More shocked in the fact that Georgia Tech is 4-2 in conference play. I didn't think that was going to happen. I think Georgia Tech was going to finish near the bottom of the division, or bottom of the ACC. Syracuse is 0-5 in conference play, but Boston College has been a nice story. They're 6-3 on the year. There was talk that they were maybe going to get rid of Jeff Hafley, who is a hell of a football coach. And when you really step back and look at it, this guy can, I mean, he's taken, they don't have much talent at Boston College. Come on, man. Big Barney Ross tells us every week they're overrated, and they are. And in the end, they're going to a bowl game. And as of right now, Clemson hasn't locked up a bowl bid yet. Hadn't locked up a bowl bid yet, but Boston College sure as hell has. So I also think that Coach Brown at North Carolina, he's walking the retirement line. He's going to be his last couple of games. You watch some of his press conferences, they kind of handle him, meaning they bring him in and out. It's like, I'm not, it just seems like he's just not quite, seems like he's with it, but he's not. So I don't know. There's that too. All right. So what else was I going to tell you today? Oh, the stuff with Michigan. I laugh because there are people that are really upset about the Michigan stuff. And yes, it is a big deal. They essentially may have had a spy on the sidelines. I haven't really got a chance to talk about that on the live streams I do with Kale, but here's the big thing that comes with that. I told Billy Cole the other night, I don't care. And the reality is I don't care. People can get upset with me for saying that, but in the end, all of these coaches are trying to steal signs. Now, did he go above and beyond? Yeah. But here's the thing. This is an area that I think there should be some sort of punishment. Maybe, I don't know, dock him dock him a couple of scholarships, have a show cause on the assistant. But in the end, people are talking like Michigan did all of this cheating, and in the end, everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it. And I'll tell you something else too. Clemson used to have this thing where if you went to a game, you could highlight your seat and get a picture of you from some kind of thing that was there. I don't know. But it was like you could actually spot yourself in the stands. All right, so there's technology like that. People can go and find the damn signs. I blame the coaching staff for keeping your signs where people can actually steal them and, use them. Schultz says that this should be legal. I don't think you should be. I don't like the idea of, hey, we're going to be on the somebody else's sidelines or whatever. I don't think that's cool. But in the end, if you're using the same signs over and over again, it doesn't matter. People are going to pick those things up. Now, I do think it's sweet that there's so many programs that have had issues in the past, and they're going to tell you, oh, this is the worst thing ever. Just stop. Just stop. It's just, I don't want to use the term much ado about nothing, but it's not the end of the football world, in my opinion. Not the end of the football world. Does it give Michigan some advantages? Yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing, too. If I'm a coach, right, and let's say that I know every damn one of these signs, okay, I have to go into a game thinking maybe they will or maybe they won't change those signs. You don't really know, to be completely honest with you. But you drill those signs. Let's say it's on the defensive side of the ball. You know when the offensive plays are coming. You still have to drill those things into your defensive players and tell them, hey, this is, X, Y, and Z play, blah, 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 blah. They're having to pick that up every single time, and they may not be correct, and they may guess wrong and end up being completely out of position. Fireball says, if you change your signs every game, you know how confusing that would be for the quarterback? In the end, under that logic, though, you have to think about this. I'm talking a minor change, meaning that you could, they hold the big boards up on the sidelines and they hold up 1, 2, 3, and 4. You could just tell the quarterback, all right, look, when you see that board, we've got 3 different boards here. The 4th square is the one that we're doing. Just look at the square number 4. If it's blocked into 4 things, look at square 4. That's the play every time. Change that up every game. The next week, it's number 1. It's still the same plays. You're just moved it to where it's at a different spot on a big, huge sticker. Also, you mentioned quarterbacks having a hard time learning this stuff. One thing that people seem to forget is that they script the first 15 plays of every game anyway. Most offenses do. So they're learning 15 plays every single week. So the idea that they can't learn new signs is kind of on that front. But changing your signs is not that hard. It really isn't. When you watch a game tomorrow, you'll see the guys out there with the big billboards or whatever, huge poster boards holding it up. You could have literally 4 guys with the poster boards and say, look, we're going to go with guy 4. You could change it at the half and say, look, we're changing from 4 to 2. The quarterback looks over. You're in his ear anyway. Hey, we're going to number 2. Look at play 2. I mean, this is not rocket science. To be honest, it shows you how petty that Harbaugh is. Let's say that he knew everything that was going on. He thought that this little bit of information would give him an up. Okay? And in the end, he ended up putting somebody on the sidelines allegedly to do it. You still got to execute, in my opinion. And then you have guys like Trevor Lawrence. and I use Trevor Lawrence because I'm a Clemson guy. He'd walk up to the damn line, and if they were calling a play and he's like, oh shit, that linebacker is going to read this slant, he'd flip it, send out ETN on the wheel route, dump that off, and then Clemson looks like they're offensive geniuses. But Lawrence, who always did his homework, and there's other quarterbacks that can do it too. Beck has done this. I've seen him do it at Georgia, where he'll check off and go to something else. All of that alleviates a ton of that signal stuff. Now, if your quarterback's an idiot and doesn't know what the hell he's doing, can't help you there. That goes back to you should recruit better. Aaron says, I think it'll eventually lead to equipment in the helmets for play calling like the NFL, but I agree it's being blown out of proportion. Yeah, it is. It really is. Maybe somebody can get with Harbaugh and, he needs to go back to the NFL. But if you remember, they didn't really like him there either. So there's that. All right. Well, in the end, I think it's all a bunch of crap. Really, really is. Katuza says Ryan Day's brother leaked Michigan's cheating. That's funny. Smart's QB's defying signal intercepts. Yeah, that's true. A good quarterback can pick that shit up. Spencer Rattler does a good job with it too. If you watch, he can read. He's really good at reading the linebackers. Really, really good about picking up whether they're going to drop back into coverage, whether they're moving over the middle, or if they're coming to blitz. He can pick that up pretty much every time. And with that, that's what makes him so good a lot of times. That he can make throws that, that are in the mix there. All right, Harry Legg, I'm going to go to you for 1 minute here, buddy.
Okay, buddy. How you doing today?
Hey, man, I only got a couple minutes. I got to go grab the children. What you got?
Oh, nothing much. I'm just tired of hearing about all this sign stealing crap. Let's get into the games.
Yeah, get into the games and go, man. I agree with you. We're on the same page, brother.
If you got to go get the kids, I'm not going to say anything else. And you have a great evening.
No, you're good, man. I appreciate you as always stepping in, and I may check into Twisted Rooster show tonight, and
great. I hope so. I'm trying to feel better.
Talking about bidets. That's kind of the plan, anyway.
I understand.
Hopefully it doesn't get there. All right, man. All right. Appreciate you, buddy. You have a good evening. All right.
You too, buddy. Bye.
All right. Bye. There you go. Harry Legg joining the program. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all of you. I'm going to head out. If you guys would like to see more midday streams like this, let me know. I'm going to try to work them into my day. And as always, I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later on.